What is a pre-approval for a mortgage? Why do I need one now? Can't I just wait until I find a house? Doesn't it hurt my credit when I get pre-approved? In part one of our first-time homebuyer workshop, that's exactly the kinds of questions we're going to answer. I'm Peter Lindquist of the Lindquist team. In this first segment of our series on buying your first home, we're going to talk about everything about mortgage pre-approval. When should you get one? Is it ever too early? How does it impact my credit score if I get pre-approved? All of these questions and more answered in this video. If you like this video, please feel free to like it. Just click the little thumb down there. Subscribe to our channel. Make any comments you desire. I'd love to hear from you. The first question is, why get a pre-approval? I mean, after all, I might never buy a house. The pre-approval process is all about planning. And through that process of planning, you're more likely to be able to get your offer accepted. And moreover, you can save money. You could save thousands of dollars by actually planning your home purchase process instead of just winging it at the last second. And maybe the most important thing is that it gets you ready to make an offer. When you make an offer to buy a home, in almost all cases, the sellers won't even consider your offer if you don't have a solid pre-approval letter from a mortgage lender like me that says that we've looked at your income, assets, credit. We've been able to determine that you can be pre-approved to buy the house that you're making an offer on. When the sellers accept your offer, they take their house off the market while you're getting your financing together. They don't want to just do that on a wing and a prayer. They want to know that you've got a plan, that you've been pre-approved to buy a home. Imagine it's Saturday night, it's 8 p.m. Your realtor says, let's make an offer. And in fact, your realtor says that all offers are due by 9 p.m. because that's when the sellers are going to review all the offers on the property. And now you say, I'm not pre-approved. What are we going to do on a Saturday night at 8? Are we going to gather all your application data, review what payments and how much money you've got, and try to collect pay stubs and bank statements, and then analyze your credit? And gosh, had we planned on it, we could have maybe taken some steps that could have saved you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And we want to get all of that done by 9 p.m. It really doesn't work that way. It's really just a poor plan. If you want to try to be prepared for how much are payments going to be, how much money do you need? What if you don't have enough money to buy the home? That's all the kinds of questions we go through during the pre-approval process. And last minute decisions on things like that can really cost you dearly. And you know what? More than likely, you won't get your offer accepted on a home unless we've done that ahead of time. So how early is too early to get pre-approved? It's never too early. Believe it or not, you could be saying, I want to buy a house 2 years from now. And going through the process now has a distinct value because we will pull your credit. We'll look at your income, assets, and debts. We'll be able to tell you what kinds of hurdles you might have so that you've got time to fix it. Commonly in the fall, you're buying in the spring. That's a perfect time to get pre-approved in order to remedy those things. And while we're on the topic of credit, sometimes there are things very simple things that you can do to improve your credit score that you can't find this information online. You can't find it on one of the credit websites because the data they show is not the same credit formulas that we use in the mortgage industry. Now, the earlier that we start that process, the more likely we can give you some good guidance in terms of what to do with your credit to be pre-approved. And maybe even a more practical thing. You might say, well, I've got great credit. My credit score is about 730. Well, depending on what your down payment is, did you know that 730 is not the greatest score? And sometimes even people with really good credit can save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars by talking with us first so that we can give specific guidance in terms of what to do to get your score above 760 or 780. And oddly enough, those kind of numbers really can make a difference for a lot of home buyers in today's market. Why do buyers like to wait with pre-approval? And there seems to be some common themes. One is pretty simple: fear of denial. It's kind of fun looking at homes, right? I mean, we're talking about hopes and dreams, but calling your mortgage lender is kind of like calling the dentist, isn't it? I mean, you're going to talk about income, you're going to talk about credit. It's, some of that just isn't really fun. And what if you find out that you can't buy a home? If that is your fear, think of it this way: you can't know where you're going unless you know where you are. If you know that there are some hurdles, sometimes it's very simple. Sometimes it's more complex for us to give you some guidance about what you need to do to be able to achieve that dream of buying your first home. And then a common objection also is fear of pulling credit. And won't that damage my credit score? In today's world, we don't pull hard credit. We do a soft credit inquiry on your credit report. That means that the credit we pull has no impact on your credit score. There's not even a credit inquiry that shows up. You'll want to talk with your lender and confirm that they do soft credit pulls. Not all lenders do. I can tell you we do, because we get the same scores without impacting your score at all. I want to make a quick note that one thing you should do right now is go to optoutprescreen.com. When you fill out that form, that's the website developed by the credit bureaus to save you from them. Here's what I mean is that when I eventually do a hard inquiry, that's after you have a contract to buy a home, then we have to pull hard credit. If you haven't done the opt-out pre-screen, that means that there is a credit inquiry that's going to show up on your credit report. But most importantly is credit agencies now sell something called trigger leads. That means that they sell your name and phone number to any mortgage broker that wants to pay for it. And you'll get barraged with phone calls. I've had people that said it was 40 to 60 calls over a week every day. It's really just messed up. Well, opt-out pre-screen allows you to remove that part from the process so that when we pull your credit, the credit bureaus cannot sell your name and phone number to those mortgage brokers who want to call you. Now, the reason for you to do that today doesn't cost anything. You can fill it out online. It takes 5 business days before that actually comes into effect. So like if you have a contract to buy a house today, it's not going to work. But if you are planning, then that's like the first suggestion I make to you is go to optoutprescreen.com. I'm putting the link in the description below. And then the final reason to not get pre-approved, I think, is fear of commitment. It makes it more real. I give you a letter that says, hey, I'm a home buyer, I can go buy a home. And while that's really exciting, it can be a little scary. Buying a home is a big commitment, but I want to tell you that the letter doesn't say you have to go do it. You're not borrowing money. It's all pretend until you have a contract to buy a home. Pre-approval simply helps you put together a plan so that once you are ready to become a homeowner, we have the financing to support you once you make that offer and it's accepted. Planning is free. It can save you money. I recognize it's not as much fun. I try to be fun, but I know I can't compete with the fun of walking through a home. That part is really exciting. The place I want to help you is that once you walk through that home with your realtor and you say, I want to buy, your realtor says, yes, I know you're ready. We can make the offer right now with this pre-approval letter. All of my contact information is below, including a link to my website in case you want to get pre-approved right now. Be sure to watch the next episode in our series, which is about mortgage programs. Thanks for taking the time to be with me today.